I don't like the expression puggy map, but I think it's just a bit more forgiving, I think, in compared to other maps, right? So that's the thing here where I think it does kind of add a little bit more of that surprise here. So I'm still keeping an open mind. I still would probably put this, like, for me, like a 60-40 if I was going to, you know, really put any sort of emphasis on it. But Fluxo are going to be on the T side. We'll see what they're going to be able to find. And I mean, it looks like they're not messing around on this. It looks like they want to commit to this A hit. They have everybody committed on this. Everybody split apart. Pepe, oh my God, his timing couldn't have been worse. And I don't know, if he's able to get out of this, he will. A good smoke placed here. I thought he might have been a dead man, but Fluxo now realizing they have to kind of park the brakes just a little bit more. Now they're just going to try to reaggress through it. The dualies are going to be able to land some kills, and finally he gets put down, but now the Glocks, they're able to get something started here, and this is just a full-on brawl. And look, how did they win this many fights?
I mean, what a weird round for Fluxo. They should never be in this kind of a position in the 2v1. They, I was going to say recover the bomb, but that's not to be. RDN has a chance at a clutch here to rectify the wrongs of Sharks, but he gets gooshed, and Nyx will be able to get that bomb down. The nade does not go where it needs to blow open that smoke. And now RDN, with just this Molotov, has to make do. Oh my goodness, this round is on a knife's edge, and Nyx will close out the round. Fluxo get themselves the first round on the board. And honestly, I mean, you smoke off A, you give that early warning sign, Sharks rotate in, and you throw your Molotov in front of your own smoke. That was just absolutely insane to me.
Yeah, and I was kind of wondering about that too, because I was going to ask you, like, I didn't know if that was intentional or if maybe that was just the wrong angle and they were still kind of just attempting it regardless, because I thought the same thing. I was like, well, why would you throw that molly there? Like, you're going to only have so much room to work with. The idea, I guess, would be is, you know, the pistol player's not going to be able to push aggressively, but still, it felt too much of a gamble. And now, Art, once again, he's playing a little bit with a gambling situation too. He's running in blind. He will get taken out. These CTs are just going to go one by one of the clown car, and it's already over. It doesn't even matter. Quick, done and dusted round. The cost of Art's life, but at least now they can have that comfort of 2.
Yeah, and they run up the bank accounts a little bit as well on the way out. Full A1S setup for the young Sharks. I'm curious to see what kind of tempo Art wants to set on this T side. You don't want to get this guy cooking up a storm again. And so far, very keen on taking a very forward approach to mid-control. Gafolo out the gate straight away will take out Lukowski, the impact player I was looking for. That means Art will take the next contact. Koala rises up to the occasion. He takes out the in-game leader of Fluxo. And this early opening gambit, this unbridled aggression from Fluxo doesn't pan out the way they were hoping to.
Yeah, I do like that they're trying to put a bit more of aggression on this, though. I mean, despite it doesn't really work perfectly for them, but I do like that they're setting this pace, you know, getting a really good tempo on this. But again, you got to give it to the Sharks. Reacting really, really well to that situation was everything you needed. So the fact that they're sitting, you know, 5 alive, you know, the cost of Koala's health being at 45, but that's not really too much to worry about. He's still definitely on the field. He's able to get things done, but now the question is for Fluxo. I mean, they have a smoke available here for one of these players. Now that's going to get burned into window. But where do they want to go? Because, again, they don't really have a lot of real estate. They have this mid-control, but it's going to be a bit dicey for this one, right? Now the stack's going to come through window. And Nyx, I mean, he needs to be able to stay alive on this, but even qualifying this kill, it's just worse to wear now, Paladin.
Certainly. So Sevi does find an opener back, and so does Nyx. Hold the phone. There's still a little bit of room to maneuver for Fluxo here. Nyx feigns the window drop, and oh my goodness, right idea, just isn't able to capitalize, and that could have been the round in the palm of his hand. Unfortunately, that isn't to be the case. Koala will capitalize, and Sharks, by the skin of their teeth, will nab themselves their first round on the board.
Man, that would have been so crazy if Nyx was able to get that. I mean, like you said, there was the right idea. It was just within a second of timing, it just fell apart, right? And I mean, that was the right play, because then that could have changed things around just a little bit more. Yes, his teammate got dropped pretty much in that same moment, but that still would have gained him a little bit of control and kind of removing that option. But Either way, Sharks are able to get themselves back on the board here. A bit of a scrappier purchase, I would say, here for Fluxo. Scout going to be purchased for Zebi. And instead of kind of just aggressing into mid, they're just going to aggress into this A site. They're going to try to test Pepe. He's by himself. He's taking so much damage, and he's finally going to get taken out with the spam. M4 is trying everything they can, spraying frantically through the smokes. Now Koala trying to get a little bit of a peek through, but look at that. He's going to get dropped. And look at Fluxo. They just win all these engagements.
And this was that excitement aspect of Fluxo on Mirage that I was trying to talk about in the pregame, that their individuals can genuinely just take over rounds. I mean, that was just all unbridled aggression, looking for duels every which way. And this time it's not even Locality, it's not Art or Zevi, it's Che and Nyx, the more supportive players on this squad, to rip open that defense for Sharks. RDN cannot get involved in any sort of way. He'd love to hold on to this AK and full belt of utility, but these T's are slowly encroaching upon his position. His position will be noted momentarily. I don't know if he's long for this world.
Yeah, not looking great. Not looking like a great position. That Molly's going to make it a little bit worse, but yeah, not going to make it. But again, honestly, it's one of these things where we're seeing Fluxo. They're in these tight situations where I feel like in most circumstances, Sharks or any other team would be able to find these kills and getting the frags in their favor, but I don't even get it. It's like through the chaos, it's like Fluxo just, they light it up, man. Like the light bulb just kind of bings, right? And then everybody's just hitting these shots. Everybody's getting the space that you don't think they have. And you got to feel for the Sharks. That's just such a devastating round to lose.
Now, we've got to bear the brunt of that consequence with smear pistols. They're already up catwalk. Lukowski is just so keen on running up to this point of the map. Pepe's weapon collection should have been heard by Art, and it'll be dealt with very swiftly. Doc now, his shoulders have been spotted as well. Zevi is there to deal with that. RDN ticks in a Molotov. It was heard by Art 1000%. Here comes the perfect flashbang, and RDN will get nothing. Very clinical round there from Fluxo. Still very keen on aggressing down into the catwalk with force and quickness. And it's up to Sharks to try and slow that down. Otherwise, this will very quickly run out of their hands.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this is where their CT side, this is more the bread and butter, right? I mean, a 55.6 win percentage on this, where, I think for, a team like Fluxo, this is their weaker side as well. I mean, a 48.9% win percentage on their T side. So, again, like you're kind of, the weaker side is already getting, some really big lead on this. So it's definitely concerning a little bit here for Sharks. But again, they were a team that started really, really slow. Things are starting to pick up maybe just a little bit more as Doc, starts off something maybe a little bit, but it's an instant trade. Now Utility's starting to make some good connections here for the CT side. And now players are starting to drop like flies here for Fluxo. Making it to the 4-on-3, the advantage in terms of the manpower right now for Sharks, but it's a question of how long, maybe. And Art with a really good positioning. And I don't think RDN actually would have spotted that with the light or anything. So Art's in a very unique position. And if he can find this kill paladin, this really could tear it up.
Yeah, that's the big question. Does RDN clear this close angle? It is definitely a high possibility that this could be the case. But nothing being shown just yet. RDN still keen on holding onto this position. At this point, I think he's more looking at catwalk and if there's a run up there, but that's the kill that's going to start moving these players around. Koala tries to catch the fallback, and he does. Up to Che and Zevi on the site itself. Oh my goodness, there was a real opportunity where Zevi just dies, but he lives to tell the tale. They're going to try to double swing Che, but Zevi finds one on the way out. It's all up to him to defend the honor of Fluxo in this round here. He's made it all the way to Archer. There's no way Koala can spot him, and through the side of the boxes, Zevi chimes in with that A1S, and Fluxo maintained the lead at a 5-1 scoreline.
Well, and that's the thing, man. Zevi's just been playing so well, right? I mean, he's already sitting at that 8-2, and Che's right there as well with an 8-3, and that's a huge clutch because, again, like we saw before, like that was on Nuke where, I think it was Nyx, if I'm not mistaken. He was the one that was able to get the 1-on-2. Now it's Zevi that's able to, you know, really come down to the wire in the 1v1 that honestly didn't look good for him. Like, he was already spotted. I thought he was a dead man, but he got the flick of the wrist and got something moving a little bit. Now you can see a bit more of the scrappy purchase, the hero rifle for Sharks, keeping the 1M4 pistols with deagles and 5.7s, limited utility with a flash and an HG, and they're just going to regress into this A site. They don't even care at all. The pistols are doing a little bit of damage, but they're not able to find these kills. Art's already down critically low. But even Nyx now, he's just kind of lurking and finding this kill. I mean, that might just cause the rotate to come through on Koala. You can already see he's repositioned himself. Free gun, though, so not a bad note here for them.
Well, plan will come through. RDN should be able to save this AK-47, and that would be the ideal situation, especially considering he's got Kevlar as well. Koala will play the exit game. But another very strong early start from Fluxo, getting to the 6-1 scoreline in 7 rounds played, or in 6 rounds played, is, or sorry, yes, 7 rounds played, is really important. I think, again, doing it on the offense is also really something to hang your hat on, but now they've got to close it cleanly when they're at this sort of a position.
Well, now, I mean, it makes me wonder a little bit. Oh, geez, and even the bomb radius takes him out too. So,
wow.
Oh, that's terrible. That's absolutely terrible. I mean, this is okay. So we're kind of right back into deja vu, right? I mean, the slight difference is Sharks does have a round on the board, but this is where we saw Sharks do the triple timeout, 3 in a row. Maybe no, they're not even going to call it. They're going to commit to this. They're going to have the guns out. Gafolo does have the op as well, so. Again, for round number 8 right now, we need to see something different from Sharks. We haven't seen them aggress in mid. We haven't really seen them, you know, play any different. They've been playing a very standard setup. So I feel like now this has got to be the moment they try something different, surely.
They take significant damage to start off the round, and Art is already out of ramp. He's there alongside Che. I mean, how does he make it all the way to Sandwich at a minute 30? Is Young Sharks aware of this sort of situation? It's really all on Pepe to figure that out, but he's tucked it just slightly enough that Pepe will never be able to spot him out. 5v4 as Zevi finds another kill in middle, and there you go. Pepe just gets absolutely sideswiped, and the A-side anchor has fallen.
Yeah, and even Gafolo, again, just playing on cat with the op, he's able to find that connection, but it's not even going to matter, right? I mean, that's just a little bit of a low-hanging fruit, getting an easy kill, but I mean, this moment, the bomb is going to come all the way through T spawn now, and it's going to make its way into this A site. But, I mean, this is now the Sharks, again, in the same water where they have to save. Like, they have no chance on this. They have to keep that up with that utility, the armor. There's so much investment for both these players. They can't sacrifice this. So, again, you know, for Fluxo fans, this is a really good showcase of them. They're just making very quick decisions. I love that aggression from the, like you said, I think that was a really good point you brought up in the highlight of the player already in Sandwich at a minute and 30. Like, that should never happen. And like you said, Pepe just sideswiped and he had no idea. And that is tilting, to say the least.
Certainly so. And, I mean, Fluxo are still so hellbent upon taking away these guns, and Art again with an impact frag at the tail end. Gafolo's up, hits the deck. RDN will have to hang back and mark it and watch as that gun taken away. Has an opportunity to chime in. They will. No gun saved once more for the Sharks as Fluxo march up to a 7-1 lead and surely confirm themselves in 8th. I say that. With max loss bonus, there will be potent buys, at least for the time being.
All right, well, we're still making it through round number 9, and once again, Sharks, they need a miracle, and oh man, do they not have one at all right now. It's just going to be Fluxo once again opening things up. Having double players into Palace like that when Sharks tried to do something different, I love that they tried it. I was giving that criticism saying, look, we need something different here, boys, and they tried and they get punished for it. So it just nothing is going their way, and Fluxo, I mean, now putting themselves on the cusp here of getting this 8th round, you know, despite, you know, an MP9 and a 5-7 deagle on the board.
What can they do? I mean, at this point, damage control isn't really a thing that they can do. I mean, you look at the economy on the other end, 8K on Chase, 7K on Art. It's a tough ask. I mean, at this point, you need round wins on this defense. Not being able to string anything together, you've got to rely upon these deagles, these pistols to get it done, and it's going to be the SMG of Koala to find an answer back as Lukowski goes down, but Connector's being split upon. Pepe's position is noted, and surely he's a dead man walking. Yeah, he's been spotted in underpass, and he won't get anything to speak of. It's just RDM coming in from that B bomb site, and Fluxo will march themselves up to an 8th round with 4 men alive in this one as well.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I think there was a really good point that I think both were talking about that I just want to bring back, is I think, you know, I was saying this map, you know, on the paper, you know, it's pretty close that both these teams and their win percentages, but man, I've been more impressed here with Fluxo. I just feel like their system and everything just looks so clean. Like there really hasn't been much that I feel like we can pick apart, right? I mean, this is, most rounds have a lot of players, mostly 3 alive. I think the odd time we've seen that 1-on-1, things like that, but I love what we're getting from these guys. There's really good trades. They're getting that map control quickly, and it just feels like such a dominant force right now. And I don't feel like I've seen something like this on Mirage, and I think for you and me anyways, being on the desk for quite some time.
Yeah, certainly. It's a very awkward situation to be in if you're Sharks. But, I mean, hey, they can get 4 rounds, who knows? Round number 10 spells very important round. Cole will have his AWP to try and find an answer, but it's a 4-man lean towards the A bomb site that they're just so worried about a player like Art getting into their crosshairs, but it's window that Art moves into instead.
Yeah, and Art's been in this position quite a few times, and I mean, again, they're gonna
wow.
double up. Oh, I was wondering if he made a noise cue though. Maybe not, but I was thinking Art being in this position's a really good spot, but look, Halsey now has to be really careful on this. And Art's, oh my goodness, despite the angle from Koala, Art's able to prevail on the kill.
Nobody ladder, meaning this window control is very firmly in the favor of Fluxo. Pepe is taking matters into his own hands as he pushes into the A Palace. Doc will shut down Art eventually, but I mean, there's all these ideas festering for Sharks, and it's all timings that are available to these players, but Che is there to punish. Gafolo is still aggressive in A main. 30 seconds left on the clock. All these different timings have to coalesce at some point, and it's got to be now. It's got to be through Connector, and Doc will not find anything. Now, it falls onto the shoulders of Gafolo. Oh my god. Oh my god, they're going B.
Oh god, and it's already end too, right? I mean, he's just sitting in the back of empty. So again, he has to do something big. He's in the driving seat. He has to be able to be a big wrecking force. 7 seconds, has to make this connection. He might be able to buy them time, but no, the bodies hit the floor. Just when you think the time management can go the other way, they just can't seem to buy a round.
And that one's just unfortunate. That one is just slightly off the mark and stalls just long enough for the cavalry to arrive and the trades to come in through the smoke. Fluxo are just on another level right now, and Sharks have just been sent reeling. I mean, in that round there, it wasn't anything fundamentally insane from Fluxo. It was just very well played in terms of the actual individual head-to-head duels. And now, I mean, this round is a non-starter for sure, but if it gets up to double digits for Fluxo, surely this map is just over and done with.
Yeah, I know, definitely. And again, like I was kind of talking about, this is the weaker side for Fluxo, but I don't think that's the case. Like, it really just isn't. And, oh, Art, if you're gonna. Okay, he's not gonna be able to find it. But, I mean, he gets some good control on it, but it's the cost of his life, cost of a gun, but look at how awkward this positioning is. And actually, finally now, Sharks, they put themselves in a 2-man advantage in some time. Doc now coming through the back lines, might be able to find this in time. This is interesting positioning. Zebby, a little bit of an awkward little bit of positioning by himself, but despite that, I mean, it's a 4-on-2. Smoke's coming in. They're going to get thrown pretty deep. And Chase somehow, he's able to win these fights. What is going on? And now it's a 5-7. And that flank, it's not going to mean anything at all. And there it is. Double digits are going to be secured here for Fluxo. Man, they got a horseshoe right with them right now.
Yeah, that is honestly the best phrase that you could use to describe this game right now for Fluxo. They genuinely are on cloud 9 with that kind of luck factor in their favor. But it's this orchestrated chaos that makes an art-led team very exciting. Final round of the half, as Young Sharks will have one final purchase to speak of. But at this point, it's just to have any sort of honor in this game. I'm just going to go swinging for the fences, and that's a little bit of a bold take. He gets punished straight away by Gafolo, and Fluxo look to try and battle back in the 4v5.
Yeah, okay, so this is a good start. Again, now Sharks are, they're finding these engagements early on now in their favor, which is a good thing. Now this makes it a little bit better, but again, it so far in this game, like we said, it really hasn't made the biggest difference, but it is something, right? It's something positive to work with right now. These nades going to get thrown from the CT side. Nyx is going to get pushed back just a bit more, making his presence known. He's just, again, just trying to bite them in a little bit. Like, how's he now gets himself into connector. Flash getting thrown above. Look how much aggression he puts onto this. I was thinking he might have tried to do that silently, but no. Now the tables have turned just a little bit here for round number 12. The man advantage here for the CT side. Molly going to get thrown. And is it going to be RDN? Can he be able to find himself a kill? He will. And now Nyx needing to come alive. Needs a big clutch. And it's just not meant to be. But it's going to be a 10-2 half. And we're going to take that quick break. and we are ready to go for the second half now on Mirage. 10-2. Fluxo showing us a dominant, one word to use it, for T side, and now switching over to the comfort, the nice loose pants of CT side, and Young Sharks now, they got some work cut out for them.
Oh yeah, let's see what the Sharks have in store, because it's gonna have to be a hell of a T side to make this a competitive game. A B execute on the cards for the Sharks as Chase spots out one, flashes in, here come the cavalry, and Che is gone. That means Nyx has to do some magic, but Doc, flying Glock. Sure, the luck had to go the other way at some point, right?
Yeah, ain't that the truth, honestly. And I mean, a flying Glock shot, sure. I mean, that's something to spark something a little bit for Sharks. And yeah, now they're just taking this thing by storm. Art's probably going to be a dead man in a matter of seconds here. Look at the sandwich. Oh, the knife, the knife, the knife, the knife. Oh, he can't land it. He's still looking for it. Oh, and Art's just on the other side of this too. And he was entertaining the idea as well.
Oh, that was goofy. That was so goofy. But at the end of it all, Sharks live to fight another day. There's still a little bit to speak about in this game right here. If I'm Fluxo, I take the full save and I get the guns out in the following. Do not let this team get warm and try to run this gauntlet all the way back. But screw what I have to think. They will force either way.
You know, it's funny, we go on these rants, we're like, yeah, no, they're gonna do this, and then they're like, nah, we're not doing that at all. But you know what, let's see what they have in plan. Let's see, maybe they really are some masterminds on this one. Double scout though, interestingly enough, and I don't hate it. I agree with you. I think I would have rather preferred they save and just put the guns on the board, but hey, whatever. And I mean, now you see Sharks getting themselves into connector, uncontested, a little bit of a shoulder shot here. Now the scouts are starting to make some connections. Art, actually, is it getting these damages? Okay, yeah. You know what, Paladin? They know something. They definitely know something we don't know. And all of a sudden, things have turned around. It's all down to Koala, and he's on a 1-on-4, and he's got nothing to work with.
I will say the dangers of the scout is that if they get hits off, or even if the pistols get hit off, it's a one-shot confirmation for these scouts, and I mean, they worked that round perfectly. I mean, the bait and switch setup with a player in ladder and window and in con, it is just so difficult to deal with if you're the Sharks, and they just go around chasing ghosts, thinking that there's only one player in certain positions, and when they turn the corner, there's three. It's so hard to come up against that kind of a force buy, and Fluxo played that beautifully. It's a little bit of a pocket strat, but they find themselves 11 nonetheless. And now they're knocking on the door of closing out the map straight away. It's just pistols for the Sharks, as Koala will try to sell something on this A side, and Sharks will try to execute on the B end.
Yeah, and I don't mind this. I mean, they got to do something here, right? I mean, they're going to have this execute. Nades are getting thrown around. The bomb's actually going to retreat from this plan, so it's a bit of a fake, a bit of a ruse, but again, I don't know. This isn't really selling it, because look at the positioning right now. You can see even for Fluxo, they didn't really sweat too much on it. Oh, look, Howsy. Oh, that's a little bit greasy, a little bit gross. Not looking good, but here it is again. A scout coming in. Oh, Zebby, uncharacteristic miss. I mean, a tough shot to make, and look at the HP. I mean, you're sitting just under 70 between the two of these guys. Not looking great. And now... Oh! Okay. This is weird. Okay, things have turned around, Paladin. I don't even get it anymore. Fluxo red hot, and now they're looking ice cold.
Yeah, talk about overextensions. I mean, they still need the bomb and connector, and they're going to try to double up and get to that point. I'm not sure if Che understands that they are in connector. Surely that sound cue is given, and Che shuts it down on the 1v2. That's beautifully done. My goodness, was out at a knife's edge, but Sharks can't get it done.
Again, I'm gonna go back to what we said, the horseshoe, man. These guys are so lucky right now. It's like you said, like I was thinking, okay, Che's looking at jungle. He's turned away from both these players. It didn't even look like he knew. Like you said, it almost felt like he had no idea. And then, I don't know, he gets the right timing. That last, like, millisecond, he just turns back over, gets that double kill. Boy, oh boy. Fluxo are, you know, they just must be so ecstatic right now with them just getting these many rounds, and it's so frustrating for Sharks. Like, I feel like they're not even necessarily doing the wrong things.
Yeah, definitely not. They had a good understanding of what needs to be done, but they just can't do it. And now in the 3v5, it's a Hail Mary, a execute, hoping that something is going to give way, but Lukowski does not miss a beat. Zevi chimes in for the final frag. It is an absolute demolition on Mirage as Fluxo get a 2-0 victory in the series and look to continue this incredible match streak.
Yeah, and honestly, what a turn of events, right? I mean, we were talking about Nuke was a lot closer, and then this was just full domination. And honestly, like we said, I mean, I feel like a broken record on this, but this map, I felt like in the vetoes was not a bad situation for Sharks. Like, I thought Nuke was interesting. Mirage, I thought, was a decent little bit of a matchup as